Welcome to the ninth episode of the Screwup Exchange. Today we will tell you what is the connection between cherry blossom, Alabama, and training, and how important it is to understand the intercultural differences when you do projects, trainings, or even travelings.
Hi, my name is Patrick.
Hi, my name is Drasko.
So, Drasko, I know we've been talking about our favorite travels and work travels. Got me thinking.
Good old times.
Good old times before all this Corona stuff. I was thinking my favorite work trip has to be when I went to Japan.
Okay, for the first time?
For the first time.
Okay.
It was absolutely amazing. It was right at the very beginning of April. And I got to see the cherry blossoms right before they finished. It was literally the last weekend before they went away. It was amazing in Tokyo.
I can imagine.
I had so much fun. And what was interesting work-wise was it's completely different than how I've ever worked
in the US. I can confirm that.
And the most interesting thing for me was in the US, like we usually have like workshops and we have like upper managers and we discuss the points and we're like, oh yeah, well this is this way, da 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 da. And what I really loved was the project leader. He was from South Africa. And it was like on the first day.
But he was in Japan, right?
He was in Japan too, yeah. He was in Japan too. And the first day he came up to me, it was just like, Patrick, I know that you've never been to Japan before, like you've always worked in Western societies, but there's a few things you really need to know. So like, don't ever do like this high discussion in the meetings. It's like there's a term called nemawashi, which is basically pre-alignment. And how it works is you get all the different departments that are involved. There's like the one key person, and you go talk individually to the department and say, look, this is what we're thinking. What do you think about it?
Okay.
And get their input. And you get the input, and you do like one round.
Okay.
And then you go to all the different departments, and then you get with your team, and you work through all the different issues that they have, and then you go do the second round. It's like, okay. And you tell them, we took your points. This is what we think. What do you think? And they might have one or two more points. So you do it 2 or 3 times, where was really interesting to me when he first told me this. I was like, oh, this is going to take forever to do all the pre-alignment. But after everybody was aligned, all the departments, it was like a formal check-off. Like we presented it to the upper management, and it was just like, everybody's like, yes. And it was done. And that was the quickest project I've ever had in my life.
Crazy. And how the process called? Nemawashi?
Nemawashi.
Very interesting. Keep this in mind. Nemawashi is what Patrick explained right now. Very interesting point what you brought up right now, because I screwed up because I did not do that what your project leader explained you in a different culture. So I went to a training to the States with a group of like 12 people to train there in a classroom training. And I had the first time a new colleague from Germany with me. And it was his first time in the US, similar something with me.
Where were you in the US?
It was like Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
So you need to zoom a little bit in Google Maps to find this place. So we went there for the first time, his first time. So I remember my first time. So I explained him a lot about the States. But, he had a guide. I was his guide. So practically he didn't have to care about the hotel, about the cars and everything. So I was dealing with this. So we went to the training, and in our trainings, we have always like group works where people do something in a group, like 4 or 5 people, and then they're presenting to us as the instructors.
So this was an actual classroom training. Okay.
So, and it was about lean, and it was basically about, I think it was more about machining stuff. And the first group presented what their work, so the results, what they get out of this case study, what we are having or gave them. And they presented, and it was not like 100% fitting the result. And one of the guys was saying, so how was it? And my colleague said, it is wrong.
What? Did he say what is wrong?
No, he said, it's wrong.
Like all of it?
Yeah. And it was like very quiet in the room. Before that, it was like very good motivation, good vibe in the training. And it was quiet. Nobody was talking anything anymore. And I was thinking in my head, I don't want to use this word right now. And I said, this is going to be very, very complicated to get the guys back on track instead of like not demotivating them because of this directly straight to the point. In German we would say in the middle of the head, that's wrong. You never do that.
Tuscaloosa is more of a southern style, so we're typically a little bit more polite.
Yeah. So there were like 1,000 different ways to point out that this could be done better.
Yeah.
So you can say, hey, but look, if you look at your result, do you think this is, so start a conversation, a coaching or something like this based on the result to train the people to recognize that they are wrong, not that you tell them that they're wrong, right?
Of course, like you could also say like, Drasko, like, or this guy is just like, when you say it's wrong, is it all wrong, or is there something specific that you wanted to point out? Because if someone just said to me, that's wrong, immediately I'm going to be like, well,
defend.
It's like, screw you.
Yeah. And basically what I missed is to explain him this intercultural things. What are the don'ts, the do's and the don'ts, right? In this kind of environment, especially when you're the first time in this kind of environment with new people, new culture, and it's a different thing if you deal in Japan, as you said, with people, in the States, in Germany, or somewhere else in the world. You always need to be aware what are the things you should avoid to do.
And I would even add that the U.S. is such a big place that what would be okay, like in the Northwest versus the Northeast, or even in the Southern states, is like completely different of how you would approach it. So, you couldn't even just say Americans versus Germans, because Americans and Germans are pretty similar, but there are some critical differences. Like,
they are.
Would this guy be okay to say this in a classroom, or
here in Germany?
In Germany,
it would be okay for the people in Germany. And he did a lot of he had a lot of experience doing trainings here, so that's why he took him with me to the States. But I totally didn't think about this to explain him this interculture, and I know how important they are. So it was like I was like blaming myself in this case, why I didn't think about this. And I know that this guy was very precise, very straightforward. I would say typically a German engineer, right? So I think that's what happened there, and I should know it better. And it could lead to a second part of training that would be very bad, but it was good at the end. I got the people back on board, so I explained them in a funny way that this is how we do this in Germany, and he didn't know it better. So I took this advantage from this mistake and turned it into like a kind of funny thing with the guys there.
So you turned it into like a learning experience for everybody else, and you were able to recover the situation, but like that could have gone south really quick.
Absolutely.
So like we do a lot of travels, like do you think about this more? Like if you're gonna like if you were going to go to a new culture, what would you do differently, like having no clue?
For sure, I would talk with somebody who lives in this culture and comes from the place where I'm from, Germany, and lives for a long time already there, to explain me what are the things I need to take care in this culture and things. I had a funny thing. Actually, it happened in Brazil when I was first time doing a project there, and after a few days, a guy from the project team came to me and asked me, "Drasko, you are from Germany?" I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, But you're totally different than the other Germans. I think I am, yes.
What did he mean by that? It was just like you didn't act or a certain way, or
Yeah, I think it's the point that my parents are not German, so I have like this kind of attitude too. But I think this is something we will maybe talk later in the next episode about it.
We don't want our screw-ups to become yours. Stay tuned for our next episode where we'll have a special guest talk about his favorite screw-ups.